Today we're going to be looking at creating our personal mission statement. Now, a lot of people say, well, why should I have a personal mission statement? And it's quite clear that throughout our life we are faced with many obstacles, many challenges, many decisions that need to be taken. And it just makes life a whole lot easier when we have a framework of principles, of values that we live by. So when you have your values in a specific hierarchy, it will really help you go through these obstacles in a much easier way. Things will be more, as the Germans say, selbstverständlich. That means that it's a given when you have your personal mission statement and the values on which you build it in place. So in this ASKESIS, you can go ahead and print out your worksheet. I'm going to go ahead and ask you 10 questions that will help you to clarify your values. At any point you can stop the video and complete the exercise fully. You don't need to rush through anything. I'll be right here waiting on the video. All right, so the first question is, I want you to look around in the actual spaces you live and work in, that you spend most of your time in. And I want you to look at what objects, physical objects, are near you. All right? For example, I often have my MacBook with me. Now, this MacBook represents something to me. And you can look at the list of values and to see what does this object represent. This MacBook might represent for me travel because it's an Air, and I really like travel and seeing and discovering new things. It could represent lifelong learning because I do a lot of learning through this MacBook. It might represent effectiveness, getting things done, or creativity. So an object might mean different things to different people. I want you to take the very important objects, choose 5, not more than 5 specific objects that mean a lot to you, that you always have them near. They somehow give you something. And next to each object, I want you to write what value they represent. It's quite simple. It's like a game. I give you some time to do that now. The next question is about your time and how do you spend most of your time? Again, I want you to make a list of 3 to 5 ways that you spend a lot of your time doing. At the same time, next to each of these things, again, look at the list of values and say, what do each of these activities represent? Go ahead and do that now. Question number 3, we're getting more specific on how you spend your time. We look at specifically activities. What are the activities you do that energize you? After you do these activities, or even during you're doing these activities, you feel energized and empowered. Go ahead and do that now. Question number 4 has to do with money. Where are you spending or investing your money? All right, is it all to do with duties and responsibilities? Does it have a lot to do with fun and travel and family, hobbies? Look really carefully. What are the main categories? Up to 5 categories that you spend your money. And again, next to that, write which values they represent. Go ahead and do that now. Question number 5. I want you to look at your life and see where are the areas in your life that you're most organized and professional. All right? So there are places in your life that you are the most astute, professional, you only accept the highest qualities. In other things, you don't care so much. It might be kind of chaotic in other parts of your life, but in these things, you take them seriously and you're very organized. Again, next to these activities, write which values these activities represent. Question number 6. What are the kind of thoughts that you obsess about? What do you think about often? What really takes up a lot of time, energy in your mind? You just think about it, you're concerned about it. It doesn't mean that you're worried about it. It could be something pleasant. But it's like, where do you spend a lot of your thought energy? 3 to 5 activities, and again, write the value that they represent to you. Question number 7. What are the types of goals that you set and you tend to be realizing? You've noticed progress in these goals. Because we all set a lot of goals out there, but in which specific goals have you noticed that I have rounded that off, I have achieved that, or I am making serious progress towards the realization of that goal? Write again 3 to 5 things that you have accomplished or are in the business of accomplishing. Right? And next to that, again, the value they represent to you. Question number 8. When you're in a social environment or with friends, people you meet, what are the kind of conversational topics that you bring up? You know, everybody tries to sway the conversation one way or another to their own interests, to their own accomplishments. What are the types of things you like to talk about when you're in a group? How do you notice yourself? That naturally comes, that you get excited about, or even you have taught about these topics. You know, maybe you've done some teaching, some training, people come to advice about these topics. What do you notice that it's something you like and something you do well? They're topics that keep popping up in your life, in your social life, and in your professional life. Go ahead and do that now. Question number 9. Who are the types of people who inspire you? What people have inspired you in the past, and what people really inspire you now? Who are your role models? People's stories that you've heard that you just gush up with emotion and you're like, wow, that person really accomplished something amazing, right? And it doesn't have to mean anything to other people. It doesn't have to be a famous person. It could be someone in your family even, but someone who inspires you with their story. Put about 3 to 5 people, and again, next to each of this, write the value that it represents. So finally, your 10th question is, what do you like to learn about? What do you stay on top of in the news? What are things that really interest you and you like to develop your knowledge in? 3 to 5 things, again, with the value they represent from the list in your worksheet. The values that kept coming up in all those 10 questions, I want you to go around and circle the values that kept popping up. Behind the things that are in your office, behind the activities, behind the money and how you like to spend it, behind the conversational topics, all of them represented certain values. And you'll see, if you circle them, that certain values keep popping up. And I need you to, for this part of the exercise, I need you to make a list of 6 of your top values. The 6 top values that keep coming up in the answers to those 10 questions. Go ahead and do that now, please. All right, and that's the first part of this exercise. We have a second part to consider. Psychologists have seen that behind every value, there's something deeper. Can you imagine what that is? That is a need. A need is the biggest motivator. Bigger than wanting something, needing something is obviously a much more core motivator. So psychologists have reduced human needs to about 6 human needs. And I'm going to go over those because it's very interesting to observe what lies behind a lot of our values and a lot of our choices. In other words, which need do our decisions represent? The first human need. The first human need is certainty. We, as human beings, have a certain need for certainty. Knowing what's going to happen the next day. Stability, security. Now, a lot of people are moved and motivated simply by this need for security, stability, and certainty. Whether it be in their way of living or in their relationship, right? In certain relationships, some people need certainty. Now, in a funny way, we human beings are very funny beings in that we also like the opposite of that. We also have the need for uncertainty or variety. In other words, you may have a very stable relationship, but sometimes you want a little variety in that relationship. You don't want the same old, same old. You know, we like travel. Why? Because we like to have variety and a little adventure. It's our need for uncertainty, adventure, variety. This is the second human need. Significance is the third human need. A lot of people are simply motivated by significance. They have the need to be seen as significant. They have a need for their status to be confirmed. This is what sets them apart. They like to be different than everyone else in terms of significance. Everybody plays with this in their own way. In terms of dressing, in terms of choices we make. But at the bottom of this is the need to feel significant, different. Connection is another human need. We all have the need to feel connected, loved, in a community, a family, a team that you really feel connected to. The next human need is the need of growth. We are all on a process of growing and learning. And for some people, that's their top need. They have this need for growth, need for learning, need for expansion. Is that you? We'll soon find out. And lastly, we have the human need of contribution, the need of giving back, the need of just really contributing as a way of being grateful for all we have received, as a way of making change, but not in the sense of for status or recognition, just contribution, giving back and not caring whether you get acknowledged for it, just making a difference, having an impact. All right, now that you've put your values, 6 values, I want you to go even deeper and list which of the human needs do these values represent. So you've basically decoded yourself. You know exactly what's making you tick, what drives you, what moves you every morning. Is it the need for contribution, the need for significance, the need for love? And if you like, please put them in order of significance, if we can say there's such a thing. And now the third part of the equation is putting all of these towards some mission or purpose. Our telos, as Aristotle would say. So begin to think of what your service is, what your product is, what are your creations, what are your actions leading towards, who are you serving? I know that's a lot to handle, but really take it piece by piece. What is your service and who are you serving? And I'm going to just read you a few personal mission statements from some pretty famous people, from some top CEOs, just to give you an idea. Now, some of these people you may notice don't include really who they're serving, probably because they already know it's clear inside them. Others like to include it in their personal mission statement. Denise Morrison, CEO of Campbell's Soup Company, says, "To serve as a leader, live a balanced life, and apply ethical principles to make a significant difference." Richard Branson, he says, "To have fun in my journey through life and to learn from my mistakes. So he doesn't really he talks more about the experience he wants. He knows that one of his values is to have fun. You know, all the money in the world, if he doesn't have fun, he's not living life as he wants it. So fun and journeying and learning from his mistakes, so growth. For him, he has a deep need for growth. Oprah Winfrey, to be a teacher and to be known for inspiring my students to be more than they ever thought they could be. So, you know, Oprah sees herself as a teacher, whether it's through television, through seminars, through speaking, through coaching and consulting. Whatever she does, she views herself as a teacher, helping to inspire people see themselves much greater, you know, to really see their full potential, to realize that they are much more than they imagined themselves. So in her case, she did put who she's serving. So while we're on the topic of mission statements, I want to share mine with you. My life's mission is to experience love, joy, and gratitude while inspiring my students all over the world to use the best methods for becoming more than they ever thought they could be. Now, you notice I borrowed a little from Oprah Winfrey, who's a great inspiration to me. So my journey is all about joy, gratitude, and empowering others to live their full potential. In any case, you're going to need some time to formulate your personal mission statement. And this is just going to be changing your life in such a huge way. Because once you have that, you know, you're really like a person who knows who they are, what they want, what they're doing, or where they're going. And this is really self-leadership.